All right, well, we are at the spot we checked out on that map, and this is a spot I have been to, but I wanted to check out a new area, and that's why we were on the maps. There's a lot of fields close by, and this is kind of up a little bit, so I'm thinking those turkeys are gonna move up from the fields as season gets closer. So we're gonna head out here and walk some of these roads, hopefully pick up some tracks, and maybe even hear a gobble. Here we go. Another thing we were looking for when we were scouting this property is a little elevations. That way we could hear turkeys gobble, and this is exactly what we were looking for. We got about 100 feet of elevation and we can hear over this. And although we're not listening now, this would be a good spot to mark on the map, come back and start from here in the morning to first try to locate a gobbler. This is an old human track, not crazy old, but looks like it could be a turkey scouter or a shed hunter. And that's one thing to take into consideration when you're trying to pick out a property is look at hunting pressure, because that's a big one, especially if you're not in the youth season. And on an easy walk-in access property like this, where we're, less than half a mile from the car, I would say hunting pressure is probably going to be pretty high. But if you know the correct areas to look, find those pockets where turkeys are hanging out, where they're not getting hunted, still you can definitely feel a tag on a property that's being hunted by other people. So I was just telling Forrest, one of the reasons I really like this property is because, one, it's got great roostability, and that's kind of a term I came up with. But what it means is you can come in here and roost turkeys in the evening for the next morning very easily. There's roads that drive into the property, and there's a lot of high spots that you can quickly get to, call, or make a shot gobble in the evening, roost one, and come back and kill it in the morning. And then if you don't get it in the morning, there's this property is big enough within enough habitat that you can totally stay the rest of the day or half a day and likely get on other turkeys in this property, because I think this property is close to 600 acres. This has been a great scouting trip so far, even though we haven't even found any sign yet. You might be saying to yourself, well, why are you saying that? Well, it's because of those two reasons. One, old sign, and two, habitat. The habitat is amazing, and just from my experience knowing what turkeys like at what times of the year, I can guarantee you, April, May, they're gonna totally be in here. Now, oftentimes when I'm scouting a turkey property, I actually don't even find sign because I'm scouting it ahead of season. They haven't quite gotten into that area yet. So here's a couple things I look for when I'm scouting a property, but there's not turkeys in there currently. First thing would be old sign. Finding turkey feathers or scat from previous years. That'll let me know that they're in there at that specific time when they dropped it last year. But even though it may not be this year, chances are they're gonna come back and be in the same area the next year. Two, and this is a big one, is habitat. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, because we've got this long ridge where there's ponderosa pines, there's upstory cover so they feel sheltered from predators in the sky, but there's also undercover where they can nest, feed, scratch around. And just finding a spot like this is gonna be a great spot to remember come turkey season. And even though we're not seeing a lot of sign, I'm still gonna come check this spot out because I know that this is very prime habitat for them come in April. Well, that is exactly what we were looking for. That's a big tom track right there. Moving this way, we are on the board. This is actually not old sign. It did rain a couple days ago, so this is still from this year, headed this way. This proves my point that if you find the fields, you find where the turkeys are moving up from the fields, you're gonna get onto turkeys. And this is the first of hopefully a lot of sign we're gonna find on this property. We're gonna keep going. I like this section because it's got a lot of open spots next to thick timber. Keeps going, and there's another one. So it's just a lot of this like open, thick, open, thick. That's what turkeys love, that transition, that mix. And when you can find that in a property, it's a great spot to find gobblers. Well, just like that, turkey tracks number 2 and 3 right on this road, exactly how we thought. So we're in them, and they're definitely in here. I think we're gonna start to head back though. It's been a great day so far. More great habitat, and it seems like the further we go into this property, the better it gets. I'm gonna stop and explain why I like this spot right here. So the first reason is diversity. You've got open spaces where turkeys can strut, feed, scratch, call, and you've got thicker spots where they can nest, roost in some of these trees. And now that's all really condensed, and all that activity might not happen right in this area, but this whole general property has that same habitat, so they can use this whole property throughout the year and really live in it effectively and safely, hide from predators, nest, reproduce, gobble, call, and do all these things that turkeys love to do in this same property where they feel safe, they have food, they have water, and that's what makes them want to be here. Well, I hope these tips help you find some turkeys this spring. It's going to be a great spring. We're already getting really excited. We've heard a lot of toms gobbling already, so I'm really hoping everyone has a great time this spring out in the woods. Let me know in the comments down below if these tips worked for you, anything you'd like to see in the future. See ya.